of actually, what are we doing today? Is this another? We're talking about hybrid offices, aren't we, Fuad?
We are talking about hybrid work, hybrid workplace, and how we can make them more interactive, more social, and more human. That is.
I love it because we've been working in an entirely digital office from the inception of the company. I mean, I think I've been in the basement, which I am now. I've cleaned it up a little, at least to look a lot worse. There were laundry machines behind me. You're in your garage. Graham is in a
Garage.
farmhouse.
I'm in a
Deb,
farmhouse.
Deb, are you in the kitchen or in your home office? I can't remember.
I am actually in my home office. I was in the kitchen for a while, but I'm now back in the home office.
The right, that was a homeschooling thing. See, we were able to work around the homeschooling of Deb's grandchildren. That's awesome during COVID.
Yeah.
Um, but this isn't the reality that's kind of coming out now. I mean, employers have invested quite a bit in their office infrastructures. They are big on corporate culture, water cooler talk, all that great stuff. So there's a lot of pressure on employees to come back to the office. But an interesting things happen during all the time away. People have realized that hey, I can make my life work around work and work around my life. So can we do that? Graham, what's your take on the whole, you know, hybrid work experience? I mean, you've been in the industry for a lot longer than I have.
Yeah.
What's your take from just being a veteran of it?
Well, I can see things are changing dramatically. And especially if you're in the knowledge and creative class of employee, you've got so many options now. And family and work life matters used to be kind of phrases maybe that HR would throw out, but they wouldn't put a lot of heart into it. But I think right now they're massively important because we've got so many options, especially in sort of the creative knowledge class. We can walk across the street or walk across the internet and get a great job. So I think we're going to have to reskill a lot of managers in how to deal with people as they are, as human beings, and to make adjustments. So I see a massive change, Justin.
And Deborah, you owned multiple successful businesses. How do you feel about the overall, you know, hybrid and even work from home model? Do you think that's something that would have worked during your tenure?
Um, so would have it worked in the past? Absolutely not. And that would have been because the employer would not have allowed it. I think like what Graham's saying and what we're all saying is the new norm is very different from what it used to be. And so now, we've all read about the mass exodus of employees. We've read about the hybrid. I was talking to someone that's doing research on the impact of forcing people to go back into the office. And the impact for some people going to the office, they want to go to the office. There are other people who don't want to go to the office. So this has really
How do you
changed
balance
the
that?
dynamic. Yeah, how do you balance that? And how does the employer handle that? How do you handle that, still have productivity? It's a different mindset.
Well, you know what's interesting, Deb, is something emerged just, I think, last night or yesterday where Apple had this policy they wanted people to come back. And guess
Mm.
what? They're ahead of machine learning. So we're not talking at the bottom of the pile. Said, thank you very much. I am coming back, but not to you guys. And he left for Google. That is a massive message and a huge whoops, which shows you the impact of this.
So
Wow, that's
we're
very
saying
interesting.
we're saying that we're seeing indications that people are leaving if you don't have hybrid options. If you don't accommodate your workforce, if you don't meet them where they are, um, people are quitting. And I think another thing that's also very obvious now is that one can look for employment without borders. They
Yeah.
can actually go beyond local availabilities. But yes, at the same time, employers also have the ability of looking across the borders too. Um, but I think what we are seeing is that it is going to become an important matter to look at immediately, how employers are going to redesign, rethink, reinnovate to include everyone.
I think it's
Absolutely.
exciting what you're saying, Fuad, because let's not forget that we love getting together. We love the social aspects of work. And if we're blessed with our teammates, and having that beer after work and sharing a lunch is something that I think a lot of us miss. And so we want to blend that in, that we have get togethers. I know my daughter, who works for Shopify, they have these
Mm.
great events. Some of them are virtual tours of cities, but they also are planning on getting together for these social things. She wants to meet the people she works with. And I think that's something to take into consideration.
Absolutely. I think the lifestyle entirely is changing. Um, and recently, Airbnb introduced a whole new way of searching your uh, your next new place that you're going to visit and work from. Perhaps we're seeing that not only millennials and Gen Zs are going away and working from different places, but people of our age as well. I'm 40 plus. You guys are younger, some of you. But
Careful, careful.
Yeah.
but I think it's not just the younger generations who are new into the workforce from 18 to 25. It's also people like us, our age group, looking into these possibilities. The In light of COVID, I think we have seen other people doing it, and now we have seen this evidence, this proof. We're not shying away from it anymore. Justin,
Yeah.
if you have that video handy,
Can
le-
definitely.
let's show that video. And companies like Airbnb, they're taking different solutions, different approaches to accommodate this for their customers and staffs. But I found this video really exciting. Let's take a look.
All right, let me pop that on.
Millions of people are now more flexible about where they live and work. And they're spreading out to thousands of towns and cities. And they're staying for weeks, months, or even entire seasons at a time. A new world of travel has emerged. And just like millions of other people, I don't have to be back in office 5 days a week. And so Sophie and I hit the road. And we saw a lot of cool stuff. But it was really clear that this is just the tip of the iceberg. Because there's this whole world of Airbnb, millions of unique homes just waiting to be discovered. And we thought this was a perfect time to create a new Airbnb for this new world of travel. And so we've created the biggest change to Airbnb in a decade. Introducing the Airbnb 2022 summer release. And it starts with Airbnb categories.
Amazing.
Thank
So
you.
they're
So,
basically retooling their entire business to be around like work travel.
yeah. So Dave and I, my husband and I, have done several trips where we've actually went away for 3, 4 weeks, but we only are on 1 week vacation. The other weeks we work, and so we actually have specific. When we're going to do that, we know we need to have some place that's got great internet and has some place to go sit and actually have a meeting, and and so this is the new norm. I love it.
Yeah, and I think this 4 or 5 days. I mean, it's not about you have to come 4 days or a 5 days week, or one day Friday you dress like whatever you want, and those things are not gonna work, right?
No more Hawaiian shirt Friday, eh?
I mean, it'd be difficult to entirely return to the same fashion as we used to, to office. Uh, there will be changes in many ways. As Garam was saying, now we would go to office for one of the primary reasons would be to socialize, to bond with, with colleagues, to bringing that belongingness into the equation. And I think, yes, there are challenges with hybrid remote work. How do you onboard new people with the same citizenship and belongingness that you try to instill? um, the culture that you try to foster, it becomes harder. But I think if you have a well thought process, and if you bring technologies that's really good too, that it can augment certain things, then it's possible to do so. Online conference softwares and hardwares, we're looking at an emerging, a wave of innovations in that area. We are looking at this uh, online conference kits that come with hardwares and software, and it augments our experience to a great extent. For example, if Deborah was in a boardroom and multiple people were present, and as randomly different speakers speak, imagine the AI and the hardware combined together can understand who is speaking, where should I focus now, where is the context coming from, should I do wide angle now, or should I do a focus, single focus, and all of those, other augmented intelligence like blue cap. As you are talking, you can completely focus on the conversation, not necessarily taking notes, or worried about, oh, let's take a look at everyone, how is everyone receiving my statement. You can get those done through your digital assistant, AI assistant, cognitive intelligence.
And I like how both of those concepts are related, because the first one with the camera, I mean, what would we bring back now? The meeting room cameraman? Like it's impossible. So I mean, AI tools like Blue Cap is, it makes like a world of possibility happen with the hybrid work, because you don't need the extra people to conduct the business. You don't need the extra overhead of doing it. It's just, the AI is there, it does its job, and you focus on the people just like they were there.
I think the trick in what you guys are saying is, and you said it there, is the focus on the people. We all love to work. Work is critical to the human experience, to surviving. We love it. What we don't like is bad management. We don't like silly rules and these things. So to me, we enhance the good, eliminate the bad, and we have a spectacular experience. The idea of managing for time, I think, is something that might have to go out the door in a lot of industries where, no, I don't want you to clock in the morning or clock out. I need this work to get done. And how it gets done, the outcome is up to you. It gets done. We're happy people. And so there's so much creativity that is going to emerge here.
And I
Oh,
think,
absolutely.
Garan, thank you for mentioning that. And that brings people analytics. People analytics will be more important than ever. Understanding how diversity plays, understanding how, all of these concerns that we have always had in HR. Technology now allows us to use metadata to analyze data in an aggregated way and be able to see what's working, what's not working, what we need to do to include more inclusive work culture, to foster innovation. And I think AI is fully ripe, almost in real time, to give us these insights so that we can take immediate actions.
Having a personal coach, like you're an AI personal coach, um, that is dealing in data and so forth, is such a wonderful gift. It's something I know I've used using our own technology, is giving me the insights, and it's not offensive and I don't get mad, and it's just providing me the data. This is a massive transformation, Fuad. You're speaking too loudly, you're speaking too long. Look at your language choice. This is a wonderful gift.
Yeah.
Well,
I
here's something that's in the news. I believe it came about yesterday or so. Zoom is introducing sentiment in their calls, and I believe um, one of us brought it up that there has been some complaints from human rights associations and organizations, and they are petitioning to Zoom not to launch it. What are your opinions on that, and um, how and if this should be used at all?
yeah,
It's interesting. Oh, sorry, Deb,
no,
you
no,
go
no,
right
go
ahead.
ahead. No, 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 go ahead.
I actually see AI as doing the opposite. I see it as absolutely supporting and accelerating uh, diversity and inclusion. It is in one sense dispassionate, and it just brings the insight. So I see this as a magnificent tool for making we're treating people fairly and equally. I understand the people who came at Zoom. I get that. This is another, and I suspect of it. It could be taken that way. But I actually think the kind of things that we're certainly doing at Blue Cap are going to have the absolute opposite effect of making it more capable, more
I
inclusive,
absolutely agree.
and the
Yeah,
out is going to go is going to rise.
yeah, absolutely agree. I think that it's measuring sentiment by AI is a tool, and it's a tool to be used. And how you use it, it's really up to the corporate culture. So, I think that if you want to make sure that people are being included, that that people are being heard, that we're not using the wrong language, that we're using language that is inclusive and that is acceptable to the corporate culture. I think that this is going to be an actually huge asset and move us forward as a culture, as a global culture.
And I like those ideas. And between what you and Graham said, I mean, it's basically it can't have an axe to grind with you. The AI, it doesn't have feelings in that way. It doesn't have a grudge against you. It's not trying to prove anything. It's there to prod you to be a little bit better, help you work faster, and help your management team actually see the big picture as opposed to focusing on you.
Yeah,
Um, if I'm playing devil's advocate, you
yeah,
could take those metrics and maybe start picking on someone with them, but it's kind of a reflection of what's actually going on. Um, and I think perhaps there's an anxiety around it. Am I doing something I'm unaware of, and is AI going to see it? And I
yeah.
think
You
maybe
know,
that's where a lot of the discomfort might come from.
I also think it's an opportunity for organizations like Apple to better understand their employees and what the employees want and what makes a happy and inclusive work environment. What makes it all work together. And, I think that actually measuring sentiment and how involved people are, how happy people are in a work environment. If people aren't happy in your work environment, it's time to do something about it.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we've seen more work activism in the past years, right? We have seen walkouts, we have seen
Mhm.
strikes, and increased number of those, but we haven't really seen increased unionizations. Um, that's a whole different topic. We should
Yeah.
talk about that.
Unionization,
Oh,
that's a can of worms.
that's a podcast all on its own.
But
I am
Yeah.
pro union, though. Let's just put it on the record.
All right. As the CEO, okay, good.
but I think
Oh, is that giving you ideas already? I'm for it.
Ah,
I support you all.
going back to sentiment and those kind of analysis, I absolutely agree. I think um, the vision here is to using bias, a set of common biases extracted out of common senses that we collectively consider to be correct. Um, and based on those data, that bias, we try to detect negative biases, and then we allow humans to take their actions at their discretion from there. Now, the way we need to probably design it, that as Justin was saying, aggregated, we need to design it that by nature, it is not, it doesn't have a purpose of punishing, but rather a purpose of coaching, helping, from one granular to overview. How is my corporate culture doing against a benchmark of some quantified metric of of my company that belongs in the industry, where I could have a, let's say, some sort of benchmark. That way I could I could have my targets. Where do I need to improve?
Yeah,
What can I
absolutely.
do to improve? As an HR, imagine being able to scale that, exactly be able to identify, hey, within inclusive domain, this is particular specific narrow place where I have, collectively my organization is weak. Let's
Yeah.
hire. I mean, this is gonna sound funny that let's do another webinar on, but coaching on a specific topics
You know
that
what?
required.
I, I agree with you. I think I have a podcast specifically about how AI can actually act as a coach. Would be, yeah, I think it'd be a great topic. Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally agree with everything you're saying. It's a it is a tool. It's a tool, and it is a tool to make you, to or a coach. I mean, Justin and I have talked about this, and I know that Justin's mentioned it many times about trying to improve. I know I personally am trying to improve my happy score, my positive score, because that's my goal, right? So I'm week over week now. I'm checking to see, oh, how was I last week? How am I doing this week? And it's a coach, and it's also helping me be a better presenter. It's helping me be a better listener. It's better at participating, and better at providing positive feedback.
As we further explore the training for our language models that are looking at not necessarily inappropriate speech, but less than proper speech, I'm learning a lot about the things that get said day to day that could be offensive to people, that it just flies over the average person's head. I mean, as we work on these models, we're discovering things that are just uh, surprising, I guess, for one.
Very
Yeah.
surprising, and I guess may not be as surprising, but I guess we
I
are.
mean, I guess I shouldn't be. Maybe that's. Oh no, now I have anxieties.
No, absolutely. And I think we have long been doing people analytics to optimize culture, to to really meet employees where they are. We have used complex mathematics to aggregate and calculate and then extract insights. What has changed now in that aspect is that now you can use enormous number of metadata to really extract more complex insights without complex calculations, and without violating privacy. And that's magic in terms of the ability that the next generation of HR, that they would be able to bring on the table to improve the culture from data. And as we're saying, the innovation that's happening in the area of hybrid work, uh, it's mind blowing. I'm really fascinated, and I think with all the changes that companies, as we saw, like Airbnb, re-innovating their product, re-innovating externally, internally. This is what we're going to see, and I'm excited.
I think this is, this approach is actually going to be especially good for smaller businesses. I know that sounds weird, but I think for smaller businesses, the overhead, you're not going to have office space. You're not going to, you can actually shrink your overhead, still have that connection with your staff, your employees, still know what's going on. I think this is I like the idea of a hybrid workplace.
Well, we've seen it local to Ottawa. I mean, Shopify ditched all that beautiful office space in Ottawa for a more equitable remote work environment for their people. And I mean, it's a global company. They manage thousands, tens of thousands of stores around the world.
And I bet,
And
Justin, they're going to come back for a yearly celebration, maybe for Christmas.
Yeah.
Right?
exactly. Well, maybe they get together. I think Graham, were you saying they get together much more often than that? Was it Shopify?
Yeah, it was Shopify, and so
They do. They
sorry.
have they have events or virtual, but can you imagine they do virtual city tours? They're also going
That's
to
cool.
start having parties where the Toronto region will have a party or something, because it does matter, guys. Human interaction does matter.
Absolutely.
Well,
Now going back,
and I don't. Oh, go ahead, Fuad.
no, you go ahead, Justin.
I was just going to say, I don't think people want to necessarily work from home or work from the office or whatever. They just want to be treated like adults who can manage their time. And I mean, we've been saying this for a long time in our careers, results driven management. So it's not punch in at 9, punch out at 5. It's, is the Smith project on track?
Absolutely.
Yes. Great. All our metrics are met.
Employer needs to be aware of that, and if their mindset is not shifted like that, they need to realize it and really try hard, because otherwise I think they're gonna be victim of the great resignation.
Yeah, you're saying that, Justin. I read a
Yeah.
book called The 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, and he talks about how if you're measured by what you get done, you can decide to work 2 days straight or 3 like Fuad, but 3 days straight where you can get as much work done as other people can get done in 7 days. Working with this new attitude better fits into people's lifestyle. So you could get up in the morning, put your kids on the bus. You spend like a couple hours quality time with your kids. Then you do your work, and then maybe you do something else, and then you do some more work. And you're as long as you are being measured by productivity, by finishing or being on time with target with milestones or whatever it is that you do, it gives you a better quality of life. You actually get to spend some time with your children. We could actually change our lifestyle and become more like the Mediterraneans, where they have this big lunch where everybody comes home and they have a big lunch and a nap, and then everybody goes back to work.
Yeah,
I envy that.
Now going back to Shopify, fortunately we would one of our project, the building that Shopify used to be in, they have left it, and with one of our partner, TCC Canada, we're converting one of their boardrooms into a cognitive augmented intelligent boardroom, where the AI would be contracted to do certain things for humans to give better experience in terms of hybrid work, hybrid meeting, online or even on-premise meeting, where the burden would be taken off from us in terms of starting the meeting, in terms of taking notes, gathering intelligence, so that we can relax and bond better. Um,
Yes.
Now, I think in our one of our not next, but in one of our next live streams, we would love to give you a tour. And the room that we are converting is actually the former room of the current, correct me if I'm wrong, current CEO of Shopify, his private room. He has we have some surprise stuff to show you as we give you the tour. Um,
Ooh, I like surprises.
So stay tuned for that one. Um,
Yeah.
I think we should take some questions if you have any.
Yeah, if there are questions, just drop them in the chat, folks,
Yeah.
and we'll talk
And
about them.
if anybody in LinkedIn land is here in the Ottawa area and wants to check out this cognitive office, wow, just let us know, and we'll be happy to give you a tour. I'm sure you could try it out, try the actual office out.
You know what I can do? I can practice using a feature here. I can say I was not. I should have done this before I said anything. I'm learning.
Yeah, so
technology. If you want to check that
there
out,
you go. Yes, check it out. You'll be able to check out this cognitive office at TCC. And like Fuad was saying, this office is the former office of the CEO of Shopify, and so it's a very interesting office. Some great features, and of course, it's now cognitive, so had some really interesting and it's interesting things, and it also has Blue Cap, which is obviously AI. So you could test out Blue Cap, you could test out all the different features that we have in this hybrid office.
I love that Blue Cap can go anywhere now. I mean, let's look at it. What are the new features that are coming out? There's hybrid. There's totally in person. There's completely off grid if you want to go up into the woods. I mean, you have to upload a recording. I mean, we're everywhere.
Well, as you said, we need to do more. The laundry part is not there yet, and
yes, it can't do my laundry. And after that, I'll ask you to have it fold my laundry.
Oh, the phone.
I think I think Graham is always looking for someone to get him coffee. So when Blue Cap can get him coffee.
Well, when the self-driving cars can have a Blue Cap app,
that's right.
It's going to happen.
But we know that you're not allowed to ask your executive assistant to go get your coffee, so you can't ask Blue Cap to do.
Blue Cap's totally cool with it. We'll write it into the TOS.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Awesome.
That's very cool.
Well,
anyway, so yeah.
For joining us.
Thank you.
We have no questions.
Yes. This is wonderful.
Alrighty,
stuff.
Like Fuad said, thank you everyone, and thank you Graham, Deborah, Fuad for being here. So wait, what is our next topic? Have we decided? I put him on the spot now. Look the wheels turning. He's like,
I could tell.
What should I I know there's like 30 of them. He's just trying to be like, which one do I want to prioritize?
What do you guys think? What's on your mind?
What do we think?
Why don't we ask?
We're going to eventually do something on managing in the time of hybrid.
I like that.
Yeah.
So, I also like Deb's idea. LinkedIn, give us comments on this. What do you want us to talk about in terms of artificial intelligence in the office? Anything Blue Cap related? Anything tech related? Because Fuad and I also do this as a lab to market, and Deb as well. It used to be our podcast. It's now our LinkedIn Live, so we do that too. So you know what? Ask any question you want. We are definitely going to come back with a managing in the time of artificial intelligence topic there. And
yeah,
awesome.
and maybe something along the lines of what's happening with people when they are going back and they're forced to go back.
We should just grab random people and be like, "What's your experience?"
Ooh.
Yeah, that would be pretty amazing. Anyway, yeah.
The show's evolving.
Good, wonderful.
Yeah, great talk. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Good.
Bye.